Good evening. Today is Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020, and this is the start of the Hanson Board of Selectmen meeting. This meeting is being televised by Whitman Hanson Cable Access. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Matt's going to take care of the announcements for us.
All right.
Actually, well, you know what? We'll do that after.
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to convene into executive session to return to open session after executive session. So I'm looking for a motion to go into executive session to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body and the chair so declares.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Roll call.
Aye.
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 We're now in executive session. So this is the second, there's two reasons we're going to executive session. The second one is to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Roll call.
Aye.
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 Now we're in executive session. Okay, we are now out of executive session and we're going to convene into our regular meeting. The town of Hanson, with the approval of the Board of Selectmen, have entered into an agreement with Matt Cahill to amicably part ways. The town wishes Mr. Cahill luck in his future endeavors, and Mr. Cahill would like to thank the town for the opportunity to serve as our highway director. Okay. Mr. Dyer, if you could go to the announcements, that would be great.
Sure. Good evening, Hanson. Here are this week's announcements. Volunteers are needed on the following committees: Facebook Upkeep Committee, the 200th Anniversary, Conservation Commission Associate, Cultural Council, Disabilities, Economic Development, Finance, Highway Building Committee, Historical Commission, Memorial Day Patriotic Observance, Memorial Field Trustees, the North River Commission, and the Zoning Board Alternate. Applications for appointment and information on these committees are available on the town website at hanson-ma.gov. The upcoming meetings are for our selectmen are going to be on Tuesday, September 15th, Tuesday, September 22nd, and Tuesday, September 29th. And then on Monday, October 5th, 2020, is the special town meeting.
Excellent. Thanks, Matt. Okay, under new business, the first thing is a discussion about the special town meeting logistics. So currently on the phone, we have Kate Federoff. Kate is our general counsel. She's on the phone here. And also Sean Keeley is our moderator, and Sean is on with us too. So the discussion is, so right now our town meeting is set up for Monday, October 5th. And we're just going to have a brief discussion on whether or not we should move forward with it, whether or not we should change the venue, and that stuff. We don't have Beth here, but we certainly value her opinion as well. So the first thing is Selectman Dyer had brought up about possibly moving town meeting to a Saturday, which me personally, I thought that was, actually a good idea. So it's a special town meeting. We don't have a lot of articles, but, we would like to, if possible, conduct town business, if we can. So the question is really, A, do we want to meet at the middle school like we normally do? I think that's probably not the first option, with the board. The options are either figure out a way so we can meet outside on that Monday, move it to a Saturday, maybe have it outside at the school on Saturday. So, yeah, so that's where we are. So, Sean, you think, so you're okay with kind of however, which way we want to go? I mean, certainly you're concerned about the social distancing as we are, but, give us your brief opinion on town meeting.
Well, I think, yeah, well, I've been appraised that there are one or two items that really are essential to get done. If in the opinion of the selectmen, we really have to have a meeting in October, then we should go forward with it. Although I think that the agenda should be very manageable, in fact, kind of short, so that we can move people in and out. My preference, again, is to do it outside. Obviously, there are weather issues that we didn't face in July. We go from hot and sunny to cold and possibly rainy. So,
Right.
But hopefully we'll have a little bit more luck. And I think this crowd we won't have the problem of 550 people coming to this meeting. I think the other problem will be whether we can get a quorum. Typically, our quorum is 100. The state is allowing us to have a smaller quorum. I would suggest that perhaps we can go down as far as, I believe, 20 or 25 to be a quorum under the special legislation that the legislature passed. But I would suggest going to 50. I think we should be able to turn out 50 people to take care of the business. Obviously, that doesn't limit the number to 50. Anybody can come. Any voter can vote. But, I think if we had room under a tent for, say, 100, 150, and we got 50 people, we'd be doing really, really well.
Okay.
We'll get the business done. Whether it's on Monday or it's on a Saturday, it really doesn't make a difference to me. I think a lot of people might appreciate a Saturday, simply because Monday evening would be difficult if we're trying to do it under a tent. We might want to start a little earlier. We're not going to have a lot of sunlight. But people are still moving back to work at this point, and so they'll want to have the opportunity to come back to town. Saturday might be a little bit more accommodating to people's schedules.
Right, okay. So Kate, I have a question for you. What would we have to do to change the quorum from 100 to, say, like 50? Is there anything that we would have to do or file?
Yeah, so essentially, it's a vote of the Board of Selectmen, and it requires posting. I think it requires 7 days posting of your motion to reduce the quorum, and
Okay.
just so people are aware of it. I agree with John's assessment of moving it to a Saturday, just because you do have more light if you want to stick with outdoors. I will say, given the fact that we do not expect a big turnout, since we don't have any really particularly compelling issues, other than, issues that need to be dealt with for setting the tax rate or whatever it is, but not compelling in terms of drawing a huge crowd. You can certainly have it indoors. I've been to several indoor meetings. If you look at Executive Order 46, it specifically exempts town meeting from the application of the gathering rule. So it's number 5, and it says legal exceptions. This order shall not apply to any of the following businesses, organizations, workplaces, or facilities, and it says any municipal legislative body, which in your instance is town meeting. So it is possible, and what some towns have done is they've blocked off certain chairs, in between chairs, and blocked off rows and things like that if you're in an auditorium type setting. Others have done it in a gym forum where they've set the chairs in specific location and have aisles for walking down, sort of like what we did outdoors, but on the inside. So to the extent that it's happening outside, I agree with Sean completely. I think Saturday is a a better option for an outdoor meeting. But if we're sticking to an evening meeting, you still can have the option of going indoors.
Right, okay.
Okay?
So I would, and I'll go around and talk to you guys too. I would prefer a Saturday, like a 10 o'clock or something on a Saturday. We would have to just discuss that with the school to make sure they're available. I don't know what's needed as far as sound and everything like the last time. So I think, if that was easy to set up, I think that would be the way to go. Maybe the first Saturday after that Monday, which I think was the 10th, yeah.
Kenny, it's possible with a smaller crowd, we don't necessarily have to go back to the high school. We could probably find enough room on one of the playing fields next to Indian Head or McQuan and do it there and just kind of have a much more scaled down version of what we were doing.
Right, okay. Yeah, that's a thought. That's definitely a thought. Hey, what do you guys think about the 10th? And obviously, we still have to talk to, our town clerk, and we still have to just, run it by the school.
Mm-hmm. Tammy, the warrant hasn't been posted, right?
No, it hasn't.
Okay, good. Then we've got a lot more flexibility. Good.
Okay, all right. So I'm thinking on the 10th, because the 3rd would probably be too quick, and that would give us almost an extra week. What do you guys think? Let's start with Mr. Hickey.
Sean, I was actually thinking of the high school. If we use the stands in, at the soccer field, we wouldn't have to set up chairs. Hopefully, we wouldn't need a tent. But definitely people could social distance in the stands. And you probably wouldn't need a microphone. So, it would be, if we did it at the high school, it would be outside in the stands where we could just social distance. Nothing would have to get set up. There wouldn't be any added costs to it, whether it's custodial costs from setting up chairs that we may not need, down to the IT guy setting up all the mics. And then streamlining it like we did in June. And I forget the term that you would use, but
Consent agenda.
taking a bunch of
The
articles.
consent agenda?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and putting them together.
Sure. And, I'm not opposed to that at all. I think that might make a lot of sense. We probably still need microphones just for the live feed on television, but
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Microphone and speaker, though, that's
Yeah.
probably not a big deal, though.
no, I can't imagine it's a
No.
big deal.
Okay, I
But
wanna
we
go
certainly
to,
could streamline things too, Jim.
Yep.
Selectman Dyer. What do you think, man?
I really like that idea, Jim, of having it on the bleachers, make it quick and short. I believe that they have sound set up at the football field because you can hear it from Perry Ave.
Oh, yeah.
So the speakers are already there, and I think it's really important that we make sure that we do have that audio for people that are hard of hearing.
Right.
And I just want to make sure that people understand why are we trying to move it to a Saturday. In my eyes, with COVID, we want to make sure it's outside, so it's open air. But why can't we have it at night? It's because the mosquitoes and the triple E.
Right.
So that's why I really advocate for it to be on a Saturday if the town clerk thinks it's okay
And the
to
other
do
thing,
so.
you're gonna have a dark issue. It's gonna be
Right,
dark
and
by
it's gonna be darker,
7,
right.
in October.
Right, so with that all being said, I think that we should also make sure that we do prepare for a regular size meeting. I know that we're trying to limit the size of the quorum, but I think that a lot of people are ready for, election season, and I think people are really engaged in the political scene. So I think we should also make sure that we prepare for a regular size meeting,
Yeah.
just in case.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But then also too, with reducing the quorum, I think that we need to really make sure that we limit the articles, because every year, there's always that one person that stands up and says, well, why should we allow only 100 people in this room to decide the fate of 10,000 people in Hanson? So I want to make sure that we really limit our,
The amount of articles?
the amount of
On the
articles.
warrant? Okay.
So, with that being said, I
Yeah.
think that'd be great.
So you guys okay with, the 10th? So why don't we do this? Why don't we say tentatively for the 10th? Let's reach out to the school. Go ahead, John.
Just real quickly, that is Columbus Day weekend. I just want to make sure everyone knows that. That's not, I don't know if that's a problem or not, but it is.
Probably, I don't think so. Do you think so?
Columbus Hope.
No, that's not a problem, Joe.
I believe it's called Indigenous Peoples Day now, but
Yeah.
See, it is.
So,
Okay.
so let's say, we'll say tentatively for Saturday the 10th. We gotta check with, our town clerk. We also have to check with the school. And then, we'll get it on the agenda again and, just kind of fine tune this. But the consensus is outside at Whitman Hanson, using the area at the football field, using the bleachers. I think that's a great idea.
yeah. One other point, though, Kenny. I think Columbus Day weekend is a popular day to get away. I don't know how much people are doing that these days, but it might be worth just trying to do it the first Saturday of October.
The third.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too. I just thought that wouldn't allow enough time, because you're really looking at 3 weeks.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like this is if we do it the way Jim was suggesting, a lot of the infrastructure is already there and a lot less planning needs to happen. I think what we all need is just a sound system and, to work out a few fine points. But I'm not sure.
So
I'm not sure
so
how
you
much
want to
more.
say the 3rd? What do you guys think about that? I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with
Okay.
that.
October 3rd, but let me ask you this, when's your next selectmen's meeting?
We're meeting the next 2 weeks. We're meeting on the 15th, and then we're meeting on the 22nd, Kate.
Because I'm looking at so we have to,
45 days.
so if we're reducing the quorum, if you're going to pursue that, I'm
Yep.
going to just pull up a calendar here. You need to post it for 7 days before the vote of the selectmen, okay? So we have to post for 7 days before you guys vote, blah, 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 and then not 10 days after the vote to adjust the quorum requirement. The town clerk has to notify the attorney general. So we could post tomorrow that your intention, or Friday even, whatever, have the meeting on the 15th, and then I need 10 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
You're
8,
just gonna make it.
9, 10. Oh, that makes it the 25th. So we're cutting it close, but it's okay.
Okay. All right, so we've got to make some decisions. You guys want to, and like I said, but we have to just double check with the school and make sure.
Just one
Go
other
ahead,
thing.
John,
Sorry.
hold on.
So
Go
this
ahead,
is,
John.
if I can ask Kate, Kate, the town bylaws say that the special town meeting will be the first Monday in October. Do we need to have any special votes in order to change that to a Saturday before that date?
No, because of the emergency legislation, which allows you to move town meetings, it says notwithstanding any special or general law or bylaw to the contrary. So we should be in good shape there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good question,
And
John.
there's no fall sports, so that shouldn't be a problem at the high school.
No,
But
but,
still, we want to check.
yeah, we want to check.
Right.
So, okay, so we'll change that date until the 3rd, we said. And what time do you guys think is a fair time?
7, 8 a.m.
How about 10 a.m.?
I'm up.
It's not you I'm worried
I'm
about.
not happy in the morning, but I'm not happy.
Is Kate, does 10 o'clock sound good to you?
That's perfect for me.
Oh, okay. Sean, how about you? Is 10 good?
Well, I'm usually still in bed, but no, I can do it.
Okay. Carol, is 10 o'clock, is that good? Yeah, I guess 10
Perfect.
or 7.
Sound good to you?
Sounds good. Sorry, Jim. You might need to go back around and double check. But remember, it's October 10 a.m. might be a little chilly.
Oh, forget it, 10 a.m. is fine.
Okay, okay.
Wear a jacket, man.
All right,
we'll
I'm just thinking of others, that's
Yep.
all.
God.
Okay, all right, excellent, I think we have it, so, thank you guys for contributing, and, we're gonna go ahead and let you go and hang up on both of yous.
All right, great. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, Sean, we'll talk later.
Thanks,
you.
Dave.
Kate,
right, bye now.
thank you.
What do I do, just
Just
hang
pick up and hang up.
I don't think, let's make sure we don't need Kate, no, we don't need Kate,
Oh, bye, Kate.
she's already gone. Okay, good, so, Priya, that was a lot, do you have go ahead.
My point
Mr. Amato.
was, as far as the Order 46, town meeting does not have any exception to indoor meetings. Okay, it's got the social distancing. And for what we know of the size of the buildings we have and whatnot, you could not accommodate the amount of people we need for town meeting. So you have to deal with this being outside, no matter what you do, because we don't have a building big enough to hold that many people. I only think we've got 80 people, maybe one in the great room or something.
I think so, I'm trying to remember.
No, I didn't realize he actually said the amount's over, but
Yeah.
there's no place in the town of Hanson indoor to hold a quality town meeting. So everything we have to be is gonna be outdoor. And even in the spring, I think we're gonna be addressing the same thing.
Right.
I think it's just not gonna go away. But, I think it's really important to deal with it now, don't, in November, deal with it.
No, I like Selectman Hickey's idea, the outside, that's definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
Okay,
That was my thought straight on it.
next up, we have a review of proposed town meeting warrant articles. Mr. Stanbrook, you wanna
Yes, thank you.
lead us on
So,
that? Thanks, Gil, have a good night.
so these are all the articles that have been submitted, that I put them all together. I haven't, this isn't a list of ones that I'd like to put on, or I think we should, or this is just everything that's been submitted. So, we can go through them all if you want, and just to kind of get them out in the open for the first time in one place.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So the first, Article 1, and again, if you have a problem with, or an issue with the way I've ordered them, again, it's subject to flux. If you want to see a different order or a different way of presenting it, now's the time to speak up, and I'll change it to whatever you'd like. So Article 1 is the unpaid bills article, just in case there are any other unpaid bills from prior fiscal years. We have that on the warrant all the time. That requires a 9/10 vote to approve, 9/10 vote to approve. Right now, we have 2 unpaid bills, one for the general fund and one for recreation, totaling $494. Article 2 is any type of budget supplements that will be needed for the general fund or the water fund for fiscal year '21. Right now, there are several, but again, it could change. Article 3 is any additions that need to be added to the recreation enterprise fund budget. Right now, we don't have any, but something could happen by the time the warrant is printed. Article 4, so that's just like a placeholder. Article 4 is a placeholder for the transfer station enterprise fund budget for fiscal year '21. Again, we don't have any right now, but there could be some sort of additions to the budget needed, so that's just a placeholder for that. Article 5 is the capital plan, and the capital plan is everything that we did not fund from last year, from last July. Seems like it was 1,000 years ago, but it was only a couple months ago. I put it back on the list to be funded, and I can go quickly through what's there right now. Town hall maintenance repairs for $40,000. Information technology server switch upgrades for $210,000. Replace car number 2 for the fire department for $67,000. SCBA, a self-contained breathing apparatus equipment for the fire department, that's $40,000. 3 heart monitors / defibrillators for the fire department, that's $61,000. And highway storm water management phase 2, which was $65,000. Again, these are ones that were out for a total of $483. These were ones that were on the capital improvement plan to be considered, but we took them off back in July to streamline things. So that right now they're on. They may not stay or not. We'll have to see. Article 6 was a placeholder for the Whitman Hanson Regional High School capital items. They did send me something earlier today. I just got it at about 3 o'clock today, so I didn't get a chance to put it in your packet. I have an addition. I can either I can give you this, or you can wait for the next iteration, whatever you like. But tomorrow I'll add it to the list. But these were the ones that they sent over earlier today. Again, existing fire lane work for $23,000. Roadway replacement for $210,000, window balances for $50,000. Again, those are all at the high school. Sorry, the first two were at the high school. Let me say that again. The first one, the existing fire lane one for $23,000 was at the high school. The middle school roadway replacement was $210,000. The middle school and at the Indian Head School for window balances for $50,000. At Indian Head to replace the phone system, that's $27,948. The middle school was replace the phone system for $32,102, and the high school was to replace the phone system was $159,281, but $63,712 of that is the Hanson's portion, because it's split between Whitman and Hanson on that one. So I just got this, so that's not in what we have here, but I'll put it in tomorrow morning when we get rolling. Article 7 is the Community Preservation Committee's votes. These are ones that I knew were outstanding, and I've only got a number on one of them. This is the Mass Trails State Grant Match for $30,410. But there are other athletic fields design were still left over from the last meeting. Again, purchase of the light control property is a new one. I don't have a dollar amount on that. I'll be working.
That's already ours, John. That's the highway property on Hawks Ave.
It's more than that, though. It's other purchase of other land near there. This just came up probably in the last week or two. I was talking. So.
Okay.
And Plymouth County Hospital Park, again, I haven't heard from anyone from the Community Preservation Committee yet to see if there's an amount or explanation on that. But that's just, again, those are just placeholders. Article 8 would be to pay for the operational and comparative audit of the Whitman Hanson Regional School District. I think we talked about that at the last meeting. That was the one that we put out for bid in the Friday before we shut down, everything shut down because of COVID. So that would be to get the money to do that. Right now, that's the one bidder is at $28,000, and so this would probably cost $14,000 because Whitman and Hanson would split the cost.
Okay.
Article 9 is the recertification for the town's real estate and personal property values. Every so often, I think it's every 5 years. It used to be every 3 years. The town has to recertify all the commercial, industrial, and personal property values in town, and usually have someone come in and do that. It costs a lot of money to do that. So this would be funding that. That's from the Board of Assessors. Article 10, that should be funded for. Usually, that's funded from their overlay surplus or excess allowance for abatements and exemptions. I'm not sure of the funding at the moment. That's why it's a vague wording, but that's where we are with that. Article 10 is $55,000 to update the town's master plan. That was going to be on the May or July town meeting. We ended up pulling it off to try to streamline things. The town's master plan is 12 years old and out of date. The planning board would like to have it updated and work with with money that Old Colony Planning Council has given us to supplement that amount to get it rolling, to get the plan in place. Article 11 is $30,000 to pay for engineering costs related to a park at the old Plymouth County Hospital site. Again, it would be to fund engineering costs up on High Street at the hospital, Plymouth County Hospital.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Sorry,
Did you
go ahead.
want us to ask questions while you were doing the article, or did you want us to wait till the end?
Whatever you like. I keep going until you tell me to stop, so
Okay.
if you wanna ask questions, go.
Well, on Article 10, 55,000 for a master plan.
Yes.
But Old Colony is gonna pay for a portion.
Yes,
Do we know what portion?
I do not know, no,
Okay.
but I can find out. Okay.
Yeah, that's, just like to know how much they're gonna pay before I, would actually vote.
Okay. Article 12 is to see, right now I have a placeholder number for $49,000 to pay for stump grinding, stump removal, and related improvements at Camp Kawani. So that would be, it would fund grinding or pulling whatever stumps need to be cut down. I think there's 112 of them. I was out there last week, walking the grounds, figuring out what was going on with the recreation director and the highway supervisor. I think the highway director wasn't there, the interim highway director wasn't there. But the article would fund also loaming and reseeding of the area near the lodge, and doing some stone riprap backfill for all the stumps that are ground or removed near a roadway. I think we talked about this last week. The stumps most of the stumps will be reused in Smitty's bogs for habitat reclamation purposes. So we won't have to pay to take them away. We can actually use them to bring the bog back. Article 13 is $22,000 for the repairs to the parking lot located at 228 High Street. Again, that's the food pantry. Thank you. That was on back in May and we pulled. It was reduced to 9 and then it was pulled.
Yep.
So, I'm sorry.
Yeah, John, can we just have Kurt double check on this? Because I know with the Plymouth County Reuse Committee, people were a little concerned that we're going to go spend $22,000 up at the hospital and then possibly tear it all up in a matter of a couple of years. So we just want to make sure that we get a second opinion on that. So if we can just have Kurt run up there and just say, it'll be okay if we just patch it, or if he thinks that we really need to resurface it for $22,000. I think that would just be a good thing, just to make sure we're not spending money just to,
Yeah, double check.
yeah.
Okay. Article 14 is $55,000 to pay for 5 new compactors at the Hanson transfer station. The transfer station compactors are old and in disrepair. This would be buying new ones there. It is possible that we could get a grant for one of them, but I'm not sure. And Gil just left, but Gil has been talking to vendors to see what we can do with that price. But right now, that's a placeholder price of $55,000 for 5. Article 15 is a $10,000 to replenish the conservation fund for open space management and related conservation purposes. This happens periodically when the open space and recreation plan gets implemented. Things cost money, and the Conservation Commission implements that plan, and they need more money to. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go finish.
They need, periodically, they need money to replenish it. Right now, they have about 10,000 in there, so this would add to that 10,000 in the Conservation Trust Fund.
So kind of going back to our conversation that you and I had the other day, John, was we were talking about all these different funds that we have kind of going on. We have the ponds and open water or closed water funds. Then we have open space funds, and then we have this kind of fund. And kind of what I alluded to last week of maybe we need to really start consolidating some committees. I know things happen for a reason, and just for this town meeting, I know we should just do it just to make sure that conservation has its funds. But moving forward, maybe is this one of those funds that we can consolidate with other funds to make sure that there's a just to kind of consolidate our government a little bit.
Okay.
It's definitely worth looking into.
Okay, Article 16 is to transfer money from free cash or wherever available funds to add to the town's other post-employment benefits trust fund. It's also called OPEB. People may have heard of it. So the town has OPEB liabilities of approximately $19.5 million, and we have a trust fund of about $132,000 as of right now. This will put money towards these liabilities. The liabilities are related to retirees' costs that aren't pension related. So something like health insurance, if we're required to pay 50% of health insurance to retirees up until their age 65, again, I'm just putting that out there, then that's a liability that bond rating agencies take into account when they're looking at our credit worthiness or our ability to repay. So the more you can fund other post-employment benefits, the better it looks that on your balance sheet when outside bond rating agencies and investors look at the town. So at some point, we're going to be doing some borrowing, and this is a major thing with bond rating agencies. So we've got a small amount in there, but as you can see, it's not a large amount compared to the liability. Article 17 is to add to the town stabilization fund. That's the standard article that's always on. Article 18 is to add to the regional schools capital stabilization fund. Again, that's been on since it started in October, I think it was, of 2014. 19 is to cease having the recreation enterprise fund effective July 1st, 2021 for fiscal year 22. So 19 and 20 would be, 19 is to dissolve the recreation enterprise fund as an accounting mechanism starting in fiscal year 22. And I think the chairman was talking about it, you have talked about it in the past.
Yeah.
I know the finance committee chairman's talked about it in the past. Yeah. At the moment, the recreation enterprise fund is not a self-sufficient fund. It needs general fund funding in order to continue. So if we were to dissolve the enterprise fund for the recreation department, any revenues received by the recreation department would be part of the general fund. Any expenses would come out of the general fund. So it would stop being its own standalone accounting mechanism enterprise fund and just become another department in the general fund. And similarly, in Article 20 would be the same thing with the solid waste enterprise fund. That's a transfer station. Right. Again, they need substantial general fund subsidies in order to, well, I don't know if subsidies is the right word, but they need general fund revenue in order to break even if you're talking about a business. So that would be so those two are both on there. Again, it wouldn't take into effect until July 1 of fiscal year 22. Sure. Both of those. Again, this is just the global list of everything I have. So Article 21 was to see if you want to, if the town would vote to make the office of tree warden an appointed position under the authority of the Board of Selectmen as per Mass General laws. So this article would change the office of tree warden from an elected position to an appointed position under the Board of Selectmen's control, but only if this article passed at town meeting, and then in the spring or whenever we have an annual town meeting, whenever there'd have to be a ballot box vote where that would be on the ballot. So that's you have anytime you go from elected to appointed, that's the mechanism to do it. With the idea thinking that sometime in the spring we're going to have a Proposition 2.5 override vote. We could combine these two votes onto one ballot, try to save some money sometime in May of 2021.
Okay, good.
Can I ask a question about that one, because this would be quite inconvenient? How long does the tree warden, his term, how long does that run for?
I think he has another.
The current tree warden?
Well, you're asking when when his term expires?
Yeah,
Because
because,
it's a 3-year term.
and when was it last voted on?
He has one more year, so I think it would be
5/21/2022.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's.
Because I didn't want that conflict of we're gonna vote,
So
on.
Well, they would still stay in place as elected until their term ended, and then anything new would go into place.
Right.
If that happened, you can't take them out. you know?
The law says
No, but I
that
meant, yeah,
the office holder stays in place until they're at the end of their, and then it becomes appointed, so it's.
okay, because it's a moot point now where it would be, May of '22. But if it was May of '21, they would have a problem trying to get this on the ballot and trying to elect a new tree warden,
Yes.
if it was at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. That'd be a little difficult.
But considering there's a year left, we won't run into that problem.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Perfect.
Then Article 22 is a leftover from the spring, I keep saying the spring, but I guess it was July, about flood insurance study, adoption of maps. I don't think that that's going to stay, but I have it in there as a placeholder because I think the feds have pulled the map for now. And I don't think they've come out with a new map, so I think that this is probably gonna be pulled, but just in case, I have it on there. We could always take it off if needed. And then the last article is Article 23, and that would be the Community Choice Aggregation Program for electric supply. Again, that was gonna be on in July, and it was voted off to be taken off. I think it was the night of the town meeting back in July. This is Green Hanson's article to combine, try to use economies of scale in order to get to lower costs for energy in town and also get cleaner energy. So that's all I had as of now.
Can you talk to Kate about the consent agenda on this?
Yes.
Because 23 articles is definitely a lot. I mean, there's a couple on there that I know that we can probably take out, but the consent agenda, if we're gonna do this outside on a Saturday, would be, that would be great for the special.
Yes.
You guys have anything else on any of the articles?
So the 15th would be the day, well, you're gonna have to vote to close it, but the 15th would be the day where you actually vote to place these articles. So the
Okay.
next meeting
Okay.
will be the time when we're gonna have to make the call of what goes on and what doesn't.
So at that point, we can make the choice of whether or not we can remove something, if there's something on there. Okay,
So we've got 2 weeks to think about it.
okay. Did you guys, anything else to add on these articles? No? Okay.
Well, I just wanted to, and if we want to wait until the full committee, the full board is here, I just wanted to say, like, maybe, 19 and 23 is something that we should hold off on. 19 being the dissolving of the enterprise fund, just as we discussed in the past that we wanted to reorganize recreation, and I think that the new committee should have their say whether or not they want to keep an enterprise fund, if they think that they're going to be able to make it viable or not. And then Article 23 being community aggregation. If we're going to lower the quorum down to 50, I don't think that 50, and this is my point from last time, was I don't think that 50 people should decide on whether or not we want to pursue community aggregation.
Well,
for the-
that, we clearly said the last time that, I think residents need to be educated more on that.
Right.
And I don't know that we're gonna be able to do that moving forward with the town meeting in essence in 3 weeks.
Right.
So unfortunately, that might be one of the ones that's gonna get kicked again. There's just not enough time.
Right, so I just wanted to throw
I agree.
those two things
As
out.
far as the enterprise accounts, I think it's more of just an accounting, because, we have to keep taking money out and supporting both of those funds. So I think what FinCom's saying, and John's the accountant, so, he would know better. I think accounting wise, at this point where, neither one of those are making money, I think it's just easier just to fund them out of the general fund, I think accounting wise. So I don't know that Kent Kawani of the rec commission, would actually have a say. What do you think about that, John, just briefly?
I think they should have a say in it, because it is, it's a fund that they control, but, and again,
Okay.
there's two sides of it, obviously. The enterprise funds, one side, it says enterprise funds should stand on their own, should be able to generate their own revenue, and the whole idea of an enterprise fund is to make so that you can set aside money for capital improvements or other costs that may come down in the future. It's not illegal for general fund money to go into the enterprise fund, but that thinking is, if you can't stand on your own, I think Kevin Sullivan has made this argument, If it can't stand on its own, then it shouldn't be an enterprise fund at all. I mean, that's, you know, and the counter argument is, you know, why have, you know, why not have some revenue in it and some general fund, and it's, you know, why does it have to stand on its own? It's an important thing that it shouldn't have to, you know, there's no law that says it must. So, I don't know if I'm making that argument properly, but those are the two sides of it. It is an accounting mechanism to allow recreation and solid waste both to set aside money for future funding, for future, usually it's capital projects.
Right. But is that happening?
That's not happening now.
Right.
Could it happen in the future? Sure. Did it happen in the past? Maybe that's why the whole thing started. I don't know the
And that's why it
background.
was set up, especially the transfer station. You
Yeah.
know, when we voted on the bags 5, 6 years ago, it was designed that the bags were gonna maintain that and be able to be self-sufficient, you know? Not 100% self-sufficient, but more self-sufficient than it is.
I mean, if you think about other departments in town, if you take that idea and say, okay, it's just another department in town, think of, the police, for example, what they cost and what they bring in, those things don't match at all.
Right.
Nor should they probably.
Right, so
Because
maybe
it's a
that's-
public safety is something that you want, regardless of whether it brings in revenue.
Right.
So the
point.
counter argument is to say, okay, well, why doesn't that apply to the recreation? Why doesn't, the transfer station is something we want. Why does it have to be, you know, revenue neutral? Why do you have to have revenue and expenses the same? It's something we want, it's something we're willing to pay for. We'll put the money that it takes in into the general fund like we do every other department, but it doesn't have to stand on its own. So, I'm not helping, but I'm giving both arguments. I don't know what.
Okay, so maybe that's something that we should do in the spring.
I'm sorry,
Good.
COVID-19 had nothing to do with both these
No.
enterprise funds going down.
Well, I think recreation, obviously, they haven't been able to do stuff over there,
But
but.
it was down before that.
Yes, it
I
was
don't wanna
down.
make it seem like I'm picking on the recreation, but there was money there, and it was all gone before all this started. And, you know, just so it doesn't look like I'm picking on them, you're absolutely right about the transfer station. I can remember sitting out there, and they said 8 years from now, because of the sales of the bag, and of course, that was, you know, 6 years ago when
Right.
you were here, Kenny, you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And they said it was gonna be self-sufficient, and now we're selling, you know, 3-year stickers to get in there, and it's still not self-sufficient. So they both need a real overhaul. But
So that's something, so then all that being said, and John, Matt's probably right, that's probably something that maybe we should, you know, address in the spring.
Yeah.
When we have more time, we can look at it, you know, because we don't, you know, it's in 3 weeks, you know, so we don't wanna make any guess.
So quickly getting back to well, not getting back to it, but just to add to the conversation, with transfer, I remember going to one of the Board of Health meetings when they were talking about, do we do the stickers, do we not do the stickers? You know, I remember throwing out a couple of suggestions, and it just didn't seem like they were open to new ideas. It just was, nope, this is what we've always done. So what I'm trying to say is, if they want to keep an enterprise fund, I think that we need to have a business plan moving forward, and for both, transfer and recreation. I know I've been asking for recreation now for 3 years for a business plan, and there was a little bit of effort, but still today, we do not have a business plan.
Right.
So with recreation, you know, I mean, if we want to reform recreation, reorganize it, and have their purview to be different, I think that we need to have that new group decide whether or not it's going to be valuable to them. And the same with transfer. If they think an enterprise fund is going to be valuable for them, they need to show a business plan, not just, oh, well, we hope that the market's going to get better, but that it's really going to work. And if neither group can come up with a business plan or really want it, then okay, dissolve it. But at least we gave the option.
Right, okay. So maybe that's something that we can work towards, you know, with both departments, and then revisit these, so do you guys think we should wait on that? Because if we are, then we might as well take them off now and just get started, because we've got to start cleaning up this,
So pull
this
both
special, yeah.
rec and
For now,
transfer.
and then, but, you know, we don't wanna just pull it and then have it get kicked to the side, and not do anything, and then, you know, we're sitting here in April talking about the same thing. You know, Matt brings up some good points, you know, like I said, I personally think they should be dissolved, but obviously if, you know, if somebody had a business plan and said, oh, no, Kenny, this is what we're striving for and this, then I would listen, you know?
And then if we're going to pull things tonight, I would say also community aggregation right now, because it just doesn't seem.
What article is it, Matt?
Article 23.
23.
Yeah, so.
I agree with that. Jim?
You know,
Okay.
if Green Hanson wants to come back and say, no, we can educate
Right.
the public in 3 weeks,
It's just,
you know,
it's
then
just
great.
not
If not,
realistic,
we can,
you know,
we can
it's
put it on
just,
hold.
it's just not. Good, and then I'll review this stuff too this week and just take a look. So next meeting on the 15th, so we're gonna have to place and recommend and remove anything else, so because we don't have a lot of time here. All right, anything else on, if not, we're gonna move to closing the warrant.
I move to close the warrant.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor? 3-0. Okay, town administrators performance evaluation.
I'm sorry to
Go ahead,
interrupt,
Mr. Hickey.
but do we want to, while we're
Yes.
talking about it with the town warrant, just finishing that up, do we want to vote? We have to vote before it gets posted that we're going to change the quorum.
All right.
Am I correct? We haven't-
That's a good point.
Yep,
So
I think-
Kate said,
But we could have the 15th, because it doesn't need to be posted until 14 days.
but I think
from
what
October
Jim's
30th.
saying is Kate
We
said
need-
we should vote on it to change the quorum from 100 to 50.
Well, we need to
What
make
Jim's saying is while we're on
right.
the warrant, we should probably do that now.
Yeah,
Is that what you're
because
saying?
on the 15th, we have to vote on it that we're gonna actually do it, but it has to be posted for the 7
Right.
days. She wants to post it tomorrow.
Right,
so-
yeah, I think I agree with that.
Okay, so I just move, to make the quorum for special town meeting, down to 50.
Yep.
Good enough,
Second.
right?
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? 3-0. Good point, Jim, thank you. Okay, so item 4, I'm reading my iPad, so, is, John's evaluation. So, John, run us through this real quick here.
So I think last time we talked about this, Selectman Bloss had a suggestion that to try to keep it semi-simple, focused on like some, fairly big ideas instead of a list of 40 things. It was just a list of, 3, 4, 5 concrete things that I could work on. So, I mean, I came up with this draft of, it's really 5 things, and then you see number 6 is the COVID-19 issues, because that kind of permeates, that number 6 permeates 1 through 5 on
Yeah.
everything we're doing there. And I just wanted, this is a first draft, but it's just something to think about for the next 6 months. I guess actually it's only 4 months now, because we're in September. But the first focus issue would be for fall town meeting, and it would be to create a safe place to complete the town's business. And then the proper outcome would be that it would be, have town meeting conducted in a safe, orderly fashion on whatever the town meeting date is. The second focus issue would be CARES Act submission. When I get to my town administrator report, I'm gonna be talking about how they've come out with a drop dead due date of October 2nd for all eligible costs. That's exactly 1 month from now. So we have to submit a lot of paperwork in order to get the credit, to get money back from the county for CARES Act. I mean, they want as much information as you think they would want, and then they want more. So, which is fine, they're doing their due diligence, but it is a lot of work to do. So, that's a kind of a big thing that we have to get in before October 2nd. Again, and what I was thinking here are things, this is like a timeline. I didn't know when you would have town meeting, but these are kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be in time fashion. Article 3 would be to work on the fiscal year 22 budget, obviously, come up with the likely override number, and try to get that number as soon as possible, so that we can allow for some robust debate around it, instead of, everyone will know in general. Again, you have to estimate state aid Right now, we still don't know what state aid's gonna be for this year, never mind next year. But given a list of assumptions, this would be the likely override amount, that type of thing. Is not as easy as it sounds,
Just,
so.
real quick, John, sorry to cut you off.
That's okay.
On the override, can you find out if the override can be done for the general fund? You know, so in other words, do the override for whatever dollar amount it is to fund the everyday operation of the town of Hanson.
Yes, you can
You
word
don't
it.
have to answer that now, but just, you know, keep that in mind and just find out once we get closer. And then the other thing too is, you know, is there any way, and you don't have to answer this question either, just, is there any way for us, as we get closer, to be able to come up with, you know, let's say the number is $20 that we need an override. If that $20 override doesn't go through, what are we looking at losing in services? So we can, you know, we can tell the taxpayers, you know, listen, if we don't get the $20, we're gonna lose this, we're gonna lose that, we're gonna lose this, we're gonna lose that,
Yes.
you know, okay? Thank you, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. The fourth one I had was human resources, labor relations, and legal issues. There is a large backlog of issues that, and then we also have 2 union negotiations. So that would be to try to work on that backlog of outstanding issues, to try to reduce that at least by half by the year end. See how that goes. That would be another focus issue. Focus issue number 5 would be technology issues and public outreach. At various times and at various places here, we have problems with telephones, email, computers, website today, and have problems getting out the information that the public needs. I understand, I want to apologize to anyone who happens to be watching right now. I understand the phones have been off and on here, and we have had Verizon in, we've had our company in looking at it. I apologize if you're having problems getting in touch with people at town hall. It's frustrating on our end as well as your end. We're here to try to you know, service you as best we can, try to help you with whatever we need, whatever you need help with. That's why we're here, and it's tough to do that. So I put that on there with the Facebook committee person, get that rolling, the IT director, and other department heads, and our town IT vendors. We're almost ready for, well, the server thing that we talked about, the capital plan article that we talked about that is on there for the fall, would servers and server switches would allow us to finally go to voice over internet protocol of what they call VoIP phones. We could get a phone system that would be able to use the new fiber line that the town has installed, and we would be off the old copper lines that we're on right now that are.
That means you'll have to answer your phone if we get all that.
Well, it's not funny, but you know, people have come up to me and said, "I've been trying to call you, and the phone just keeps ringing. Why don't you answer?"
Right.
And it's like, I don't know it's ringing. Nothing's ringing in our office. I can't.
If
when the
anybody
phone
calls, you know if the voicemail doesn't pick up, then the phone's not ringing.
Yeah,
That's the easiest way.
So it's you know, when the phone isn't ringing, I don't know it's you. You know,
Right.
I can't know it's you if it doesn't ring. So it's fairly simple. But anyway, it is frustrating on our end. So just try to stop the phone and computer crashes that we've had. Again, today was the website. Our website vendor decided to do an update all day. So, and then finally, the one is COVID-19 issues. Like I said earlier, it kind of works in through all the other 5. Try to increase public access while maintaining the governor's orders, and you know, try to get the information out to the public without jeopardizing any public safety, and ensuring that we're doing what the governor says that we have to do. I mean, that's what I came up with as overall arching ideas.
I like it.
Based on Mr. Bloss's comments from our last
Yeah.
meeting. Instead of 82 specific things, this is kind of 5 really.
The
but-
priority stuff on my mind are included in this as part of the 6. So, number 4 is, so, I like it. You guys have any comments? Yeah.
I know that we were just saying how we like to have, it's not too specific, but
Yeah.
one thing that I would love to see happen is under number 4, human resource relations and
Yep.
whatnot.
Labor relations.
And it's, and I'll be more than happy to do it for you if you need the help, but it's just to send out a survey to all our employees with 3 questions. What are we doing that's great? And what would you like to see us continue to do? What do we need to improve on? And then any other general comments or whatever. And I know it may open up a can of worms that we may not want to see, but at least we're offering that to say, what can we do better as an employer to make sure that you're happy to keep you here? Because our employees are our biggest asset. And if we lose someone with years of value, or years of experience, we lose a huge value.
Right.
So, it might be something nice, and, we can talk offline about it, but just something along that line to start a conversation to make,
Right, okay.
do what we can.
Good. Okay, thanks, John. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is accept donations. Looking for a motion to accept
So moved.
donations. Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor? 3-0. Okay, vote to approve the rental discount for seminars, September 13th and October 11th. You guys probably saw, it's Dory, I think, sent over an email just saying that the rec commission voted to approve the rental discount for a non-wedding function.
Do we know what the seminar is?
I didn't notice it in here.
Who's hosting it?
Typical rate would be, the commission voted to allow the 2 hours, 6 hours of either commission and the board of selectmen confirm the vote. No, I don't know, John, do you?
Did they?
They didn't.
They didn't specify what it was.
I don't know what they, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
And let's see, when is this? The 13th, so we won't be meeting before the first one anyways,
Right,
the
right.
13th.
Well, under the circumstances, I would vote yes on doing this because right now, any business that they get up there is good business.
Little bit's better than nothing.
And I would like to be, although in the future, even though we're pulling the article, I'd like to be notified a little quicker than
Yeah, or even like,
12 days before it's gonna happen.
yeah, or even, giving us the, like what Matt just asked, the question, what's the
Yeah.
seminar for? So if we're discounting the fee, what's it for? It's a seminar, this may be a positive seminar that's gonna benefit us, but we don't know. So
Right.
maybe just send Dory an email and just said, in the future, we'll go ahead and move forward with this, but in the future, the board would like adequate enough time to be able to vote on it. But you know how things happen, they may have just, put this thing together 2 weeks ago,
Right.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
not to create more paperwork, but I think maybe something that's going to be helpful for the commission, and I don't want to micromanage either, but is to make a form. Who are you? Why are you applying for a discount? Are you a nonprofit? Are you just some questions, so that next time when this does happen, and it's next week,
We can look at
we
it.
already have that information and nothing is left out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea either. And then it's standing and everybody's giving us the same information, you're asking the same questions each time.
Right, and I'll second that motion.
Okay, excellent. Any more discussion? All those in favor? 3-0. Okay, next, we have, we have to vote to accept the tree warden's resignation, Dave Hanlon, with regret. So I'd like to thank Dave for his time being the tree warden, and I'm looking for a motion to accept his resignation.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor? 3-0. Okay, next up, we need
Well,
to.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Go ahead,
Chair.
Jim.
This is a suggestion from the town clerk, if I'm reading it correctly. I move that the town place on the May 15th ballot, 2021 town election ballot for 1-year term of tree warden.
Yes, so what the town clerk is saying, because we're in the middle
Yeah.
of a term, we can only appoint until the next election. So we have the authority to appoint up until the next election, and then at that point, for just that remaining year, which is the current tree warden's term, the person would have to pull papers and run for the final year
Yeah.
of that term. Yep, yeah, you are correct. So,
Do I need a second?
Second?
yep, all those in favor?
Well, okay.
Go ahead.
Then do we run into the problem from the town with the warrant? Where we're gonna vote? So even though Dave is resigned, we're
Yeah.
gonna put on the ballot in 21.
Yes.
The tree warden have a 1-year term.
Yes, so that, what we're gonna vote on at town meeting, that's not gonna go in effect until after this term is expired.
Okay, that's.
So
what I-
even if it's, we get it back and it's approved, I don't know if it has to go to the Attorney General or not. Does it have to go to the state?
Yes.
Okay, so it's gotta go to the state, so if we get it 6 months early, doesn't matter, we have to keep whoever that person is until their term expires.
Okay.
We can't go to them and say, hey, you have a year left, sorry, we changed it to appointed, you know, don't show
Right.
up anymore.
Okay,
All right, but that's a good question, though. So now we're on,
Did you want to appoint a temporary?
yes, we have to appoint a temporary tree warden, and, all right, so that's Steve. So the temporary tree warden, and John, if something's changed, then, let me know, would be Steve Graham.
Yes.
Steve is currently the highway supervisor over at the highway department. Steve does a great job, and, so we're looking to, John spoke with Steve about taking the position.
Yes.
And he said he said that he would, so we'd like to temporary appoint Steve Graham as the tree warden.
so moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor? 3-0. All right, so you'll let him know, Greer.
Mr. Chairman, can you, read the motion again? I'm sorry.
Yep, that was in the packet.
Oh,
Yeah, I can do that.
yes, absolutely.
Because we need to sign
It has to
this
say this.
document.
I can do
Yes, thank you, Greer.
Yeah.
I move to appoint Stephen Graham as a temporary officer to hold David Hanlon's vacated office of tree warden for the town of Hanson until the next town election.
Second.
All those in favor? 3-0. Thanks, Greer, for keeping us on our toes.
You're welcome.
Okay, next up, we have the town administrator's report. Mr. Stanbrook.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just under old business, I spoke about it a little bit earlier, about the stump grinding at Camp Kawani. I did meet last week with Recreation Commission Chairman Diane Cohen, Recreation Director Bill Boyle, Assistant Dory Jamison, and Highway Supervisor Steve Graham to review the site and discuss what needed to be done. The scope of the project is 112 stumps will have to be either ground or pulled. Stumps will have to be marked to be ground or pulled based on location and underground hazards. Again, I said earlier, if the stumps are pulled, the stumps can be used by the Conservation Commission at Smitty's Bog. Highway workers would place the stumps in Smitty's Bog as per the Concom requests. Then there's approximately 20,000 square feet near the lodge that will be loamed and hydroseeded, and riprap rock will be placed in areas where the removal of the trees has caused erosion or washout areas. And again, we talked about the article. The reason why that article would be on the special town meeting is because there will not be enough money in the enterprise fund retained earnings, even when it's certified, to pay for that, to pay that. Just for some new business, County Street or Route 14 paving is continuing. It started yesterday, I believe. It's wrapping up today, or it might be tomorrow where it wraps up. Line striping will be coming out sometime after that. Again, detours and periodic road closures are occurring. Please call Hanson Highway Department at 781-293-2822 for more information. The CARES Act, I was on a call last week with the county. They released a Phase 4, and I have that in your packet, and I'm not sure where I have it here. Oh, I do have it right here. That was an additional for Hanson, an additional $476,598 $1.53 released by the county. We're still waiting for the county to approve our first payment that we submitted back on July 9th. But the important thing that came out of this call was that they decided that, as of that call date anyway, October 2nd was the drop dead date for all submissions to the county under this CARES funding. What they were talking about doing was, the county was, if you haven't got your submissions in by then, they're going to reallocate the funds that haven't been spent by everyone to other areas within the county, or the county itself somewhere. They want to have everything spent by December 31st. So it's a hard and fast October 2nd, unless they change their mind at another meeting between now and then. Everything has to be submitted. The Whitman Town Administrator was also on the call. We've both agreed that we need to get, because the schools obviously have a lot of costs that are related to this. They have not submitted anything to us yet. We need to get that as soon as possible. All the backup, everything is, because we need to have that in by before that date. The way the County CARES Act reimbursement works is that school districts can't apply. The only people that can apply are towns. So if the school has to get their costs to both Whitman and Hanson, we've agreed to split whatever costs that are submitted, 60 Whitman, 40 Hanson.
Okay.
And we need to get that in. We need to get it in now. And I know that it's a tough time. There was some pushback on the call with the county that this is a very bad time to tell, with the school trying to get rolling.
Right,
to
right.
get back to, coming up with reams of paper to send in for reimbursement. That I'm not sure whether they'll take that into account or not, but it was brought up on the call. So for right now, October 2nd, drop dead date of this money, or they're gonna reallocate it away from the towns that can't spend it to the towns, theoretically, who can.
Which is bigger towns is what they're saying.
Or towns that
cities.
have more needs, or the county itself, or wherever, I'm not sure. They did say that they have every intention of spending every dollar of it. They don't want any to go back to the Fed, so they're going to try to use it in the county the way it was intended.
But you have to spend it before you can use it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Or spend it before you reimburse, rather.
Most, well, I don't want to get into the accounting of it, but most FEMA reimbursements are at 75%, and you can add certain things in. This money seems to have different rules than most FEMA reimbursements.
You learn the rules as you go.
Yes. So anyway, that's what's going on there. Again, on a horse rescue, I don't know if anyone had heard about this yesterday. I just wanted to bring it up real quickly. The Regional Old Colony Communication Center, or the ROC, that's the new place that we went to. In Duxbury, the communication center for dispatch. There was a horse stuck in the mud in the Burridge recreational area off Elm Street. And our people from Hanson here, the fire department, and the Plymouth County Technical Rescue Team. I guess they have a rescue team that goes out to, when this type of thing happens. And they rescued a large horse that was stuck in the mud down at the Burridge recreational area. They used the water department backhoe in order to get the horse out. I saw it on NECN last night. The owner sustained minor injuries, but the horse was extricated within an hour and only sustained minor injuries. So this is Chief Thompson just wanted to say that this is a prime example of how mutual aid works for major incidents, and it also enforces that this Plymouth County Technical Rescue Team is a valuable resource. I just wanted to tell them great job on that. They went up above and beyond to do that. Just some quick.
Doesn't sound like there was any horsing around on that.
No.
It's getting late.
Yeah,
Sorry, John.
sorry, I'm trying to, I'll keep going, guys. Just some quick election statistics. Again, these are unofficial results from the town clerk, Beth Sloan, who did a fantastic job. Her and everyone there. It's just a very long day, and they did a great job. Congratulations to them. 2,791 people voted in town out of 7,769 eligible voters, or that's around 36%. Out of the 2,791 that actually voted, 149 voted early. So that was that week
good turnout
of early
For a
voting.
primary.
And just for those of you that did vote, thank you very much for voting. And for those of you that didn't, you've got the 64% that didn't come out, you've got another chance at the November 3rd general election to please come out and vote. And again, the next meeting is September 15th, and we'll have more about the special town meeting warrant and signing off on the warrant itself to be posted. And that's it. Thank you very
Excellent.
much.
Thanks, John. Good job.
Thanks, John.
Okay, minutes. You guys get a chance to look at June 30 minutes? Looking for a motion to approve June 30's minutes.
So moved.
Second?
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, before we adjourn,
Yes.
for next week's meeting, where are we meeting?
So in 2 weeks, we're gonna be doing a video conference on the 15th.
Okay,
We're gonna do a video conference. It's a joint meeting with the Whitman Board of Selectmen and the school committee. That'll start at 6 o'clock, remotely from home. And then our meeting will start thereafter, which I'm hoping 7 o'clock.
all right,
So we'll do a remote meeting on that day as well.
all right. Nope, I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah,
people
that's a
were
great
clear.
question, and while you're on that subject, Greer told me today that the 22nd, we'll be meeting at the middle school for our meeting, because that's the hearing, the public hearing for Impressed LLC. So the 15th will be at home, the 22nd will be at the middle school, and then after that, which October, we'll be back here. Ms. Takey, anything else?
I got nothing.
No? Mr. Dyer?
I move to adjourn.
Oh, me again?
Yes, you again.
I'll second.
Second. Okay, all those in favor? 3-0. All right, good night. Thank you for watching and listening.
Thanks, Carol.